No, okay, okay, so let's get started. Okay, cool. So welcome to this new episode of Roundtable. Very glad.
You forget the name.
Yeah. It's I'm glad you. Okay, so welcome to this very new episode of Roundtable. We're very excited to welcome you for this new one, a new edition about DeFi. It's going to be a pretty broad topic. We have a lot to discuss today. Lots of stuff happening. So everything around what happened recently, the balancer, uh, exploits, also DeFi, X402, ATO4 and just DeFi in general. We have a pleasure to so Yunus and I are very excited to host this new episode with amazing guests from Mangrove, from Aave, from Shield Network. So yeah, so let's get started. Like Max, maybe you can do a very quick intro. Yeah, 30 seconds intro, Ash, and we can get started.
Yeah, so thanks for the invitation. It's very exciting. So yeah, Maxence, I work at Mangrove. I'm the CTO there, joined in 2022 or something. Um, Basically, we're building node101 decks fully on chain. Yeah, I'm very excited today to cover a lot of topics regarding the events from from last week. There's a lot of money, as I'm sure everyone did this week. Not only from the axe, but also from of course, the ETH going down and the Bitcoin going down. I don't even understand why, but let's discuss that and let's discuss the losses today. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Nadid, what are the next?
Okay. So, hello. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm Nandi. I'm working at Aave on the ACI team. I work as we don't really have like a job title at PCI. I work at dev, managing the incentive and also the tab of ACI. And when there are anything related to dev or like comments to partner, and they want on.
So maybe I can connect. So I'm Ruben. I'm in the community and growth strategy at Plum Network. Been there for about 4 years now. And now we're focusing on building our own as well. Seal up decks focused on spot. So yeah, very excited for the year. Thanks for the invitation. And yeah, I think it's gonna be the spicy one.
All right, so let's get started. I mean, again, forget about the camera. It's only the five of us. Okay.
Or you can forget about the camera, but you cannot forget about the mic. It's like a little bit heavy.
Okay, so I mean, you can drop it.
Right.
Eyes on the cheese.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so okay, awesome. So, all right, cool. So, like, do you have any stuff? I mean, we are not lucky. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna be sarcastic, but yeah, we have a lot to discuss today. DeFi. Okay, I guess we must start with what happened a few days ago. The exploit. Balancer. Yeah. What who wants to
First, today there was the reveal, like a preliminary reveal from Balancer about probably what happened. I mean, of course, they haven't released the full files because otherwise everybody would replicate the hack. But I think one of the most worrying thing is the fact that like the protocol has 4 years. It has 4 years now. It has been hacked only today, and I think it has been taken for granted because the forks. There was like millions of forks on L2s, not million, but you get the point. And so that's just crazy that we take things for granted. Even it happens that like some pause functions were not even available since the coups were too old or something like this. I mean, it's very worrying, and it's apparently the maths which are not great. The second thing which is not great as well is like the fact that it's kind of like the Aave before architecture, where you have the flash transaction, flash accounting, where you're basically not transferring tokens in between transaction, which seems to have like be one of the cause of what happened. So yeah, it's a little bit worrying because we feel like we're going forward, but every time like older and older protocol seems to be falling down. So yeah, there's of course a little bit of money because it was on stable pools. So I think a lot of people actually help into these stable pools. I hope you don't.
Well, you don't. Okay. Yeah, and also like you the idea of it impacts it have like a systemic impact since everything is created together. So like you have all those protocols are getting impacted indirectly. which makes a lot of trouble. But something like I mean, you say it's very worrying. It's like I would say this is also because of like, okay, when you have smart contracts, you have some kind of a discrepancy between the amount of money that is locked into those pools and the math like behind it. Like, so just think about it. Like, the more money you have on a protocol, the more incentive you have to find a way to hack it. And when it has been designed by only a team of like of a few even brilliant devs, like it's not as it.
Yeah. I mean, the opportunity cost was, of course, massive because you have like millions. I think the final numbers are hundreds and millions, something like this.
It's I think 126. I think.
Oh, yeah, I will also like also the opportunity cost is major, but like when you see what is worrying is that it's 4 years old and that the audit teams are like massive, OpenZeppelin, and like many more like the top tiers. Exactly, yeah.
If I may as well, like if you look at the audit teams as well, sometimes they take, the age of a protocol for granted, and then they don't look the same.
Yeah, they probably
Yeah.
probably not that deep.
Actually, like we had a session, was late session or audits and security. Again, I guess that was the point. But I don't think this is a bad thing necessarily. I believe there's like a circle. In that, if something is too big, there should be some confidence on this, and I think that's the reason why the economy is growing so fast around similar topics. And confidence should build up. But once there's a confidence, then there's always a gap for an attack, which is, I guess, normal. So on your own picture, yeah, it's not me. The bigger you will grow, the bigger the target on your back is going to grow as well. So like you're like, at the moment, the biggest target is Aave. Sorry. No, but it's internet, a bigger protection for the.
And according to her next, I'm not sure the name of her, and I think she actually deleted the post, but one of a next employee of Aave made a comment, like made a tweet, posted a tweet on Twitter, saying something like Aave is next, and I mean, I think she did it. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
It's a girl. Yeah, it's a girl. Like she was. It made a shit chill afterwards, but I think she did it after.
Maybe on the Aave Labs too. Technically, they are Aave. There are 8 service providers behind the name of Aave, so it's very difficult to know exactly each person. But yeah,
You know, it's your topic. Like she did it on Twitter, so everyone knew about it, and then she basically bitched on her ex. Wait,
I'm not cool. I don't know about this story. Yes, it can happen. And I think like Aave, it's a big target. It's a big target, and it was always big target. The thing is how you defend against it. You can defend about it against it using like audits at the beginning. You can also defend on about it using insurance. You can also do like stuff regarding how like hacker or white hacker can disclose possibility to add the protocol. We do it and continue to invest a lot on it with EFI, for example. You also have like potential like insurance engine that you can have. Like there is a lot of way to defend yourself against it. And also like a review of your code by multiple tiers. This is a way to. Yeah, but I mean at the same time, it's also the how fast you can answer to these kind of problems. Like for example, Balancer, the hypernative who'd been locking like from the first like once they heard about it, Hypernative locked all the functions. They have securities. I mean, Hypernative, I think is probably one of the biggest actors who in basically looking things, and they also probably have insurance fund. But I think what's worrying is not the. I mean, of course, some users lost funds, and they're probably going to answer to that. I mean, Balancer probably have a treasury for recovery, and maybe they will manage to get the fund back from the hacker. I don't know. But what's worrying is more how can a protocol that's 4 years old on an EVM that hasn't changed I mean, how can this happen and how can we prevent this in the future? Because now it's on 110 million because DeFi is pretty small. But what's going to happen where it's like can be billions? And what if the centralization of Aave doesn't prevent these kind of things, for example? And what if it happens to Aave, which is the biggest, of course? So I think that's the question that is the most worrying for me. The thing is,
think it's like we work on an industry where like directly the code is directly used. You can use the code directly. Like there are no like delay between the time you find the issue, the way to act, and the time you receive the token. So yeah, and all the code, like most of the code are open source, so the different project. So they will have new and they will have a lot of acts. I think it's how we react on it, how we manage, and how we incentive also the hacker to give back the fund with a bonus or something like that. In practice, it will continue to happen.
But like in practice, it's pretty rare for an attacker. I mean, it turns back the mode. I mean, even if you do, that's not the core problem. To me, okay, how do you want to onboard like more people into DeFi, giving access to this kind of yields to like a new market action to the random people? Like, I mean, if you have this kind of exploit that you cannot really, I mean, okay, to you, when you do a strategy, you want to be market neutral. If you really want to get some yields on your stables, when you have a strategy, you always assess the risk behind it. Okay, or you don't, but
You don't say there is an issue.
okay, or is okay. Are confidence any of you here are today to deposit most of your funds on a smart contract?
I mean, I am. It just really depends. Like, I'm not willing to deposit in a black box, but yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give.
But at least you have like this kind of you take it you take the risk as something that you I mean you take it into account the possibility to have a
Yeah, I take this possibility into account. I mean, I trust most of the protocol that I use in any case. They are some trust assumptions that you have to keep. I mean, the first one would be, of course, Circle. I mean, they are owning or even Tether. They are owning most of the crypto that you're gonna have if you want to have debt and neutral strategy in USD at least, is to go through Circle or Tether. So there is no other way around it, and that is the first trust assumption. The second one is the curation that is done by either Aave and Aave partners or Morpho partners or Euler or any of these kind of people. And that is the trust assumption that led to the event from this week, by the way. That is the trust assumption that people weren't even taking into account. And thanks to a lot of people that were trying to bring awareness, I'm not really impacted by this, but a lot of people are. And yeah, I mean, people saw it like days before it happened. The trust assumptions that were not right. CBB is one of the biggest, of course, because I think he was the first one talking about XUSD program and MIPR. So that's a big shout out to him. But otherwise, I mean, a lot of people were the first ones. So yeah, the trust assumptions is of course the biggest thing. And I think the question is more like, are you willing to put your own money? No, I mean, that's not really the question, but are you willing to put your family's money? Like, are you willing to say to your sisters or brothers or even like your parents, like, yeah, put the money in there and it's safe, and just bear the responsibility of saying that to them.
and also like the yield that you get is counterbalanced by the risk rate.
Yeah, exactly. You need to look about the risk reward ratio, because like a risk without looking to the reward is nothing, and otherwise like looking to the reward without looking to the risk don't make sense.
But to be fair, like it's the risk is also I mean only by holding some like USDT you also like just give your trust to Tether.
Yeah, definitely.
And by the way, if for some reason Tether crashes, I mean it's like I think it's like what 70% of the market cap of tables they're published, so something like this. Like I mean it's still a massive trust assumption that you give to them. So
Yeah, we saw what happened with Circle back in the SVB events with Silicon Valley Bank.
But there is also the reports regarding this, and we want more and more like proof of reserve and stuff like that to avoid this. The stuff like yeah, if by the night they decide to just exit with all the money they have on the bank, yeah, that also.
Yeah, definitely. I mean that brings the point of I mean at some point there was in the discussion the fact that we were talking about CBDC, like the central banks coins, I think that's the step above the proof of reserve. That's the step where the central banks were never talking to the retails, but if they were issuing tokens on chain, that would be like above proof of reserve, because the actual counterparts would be on chain. That would be.
There's always trust assumptions on any kind of money value. So if you look at the US dollar, for example, there's a trust assumption as well, because they choose to print more dollars every once in a while, and so your money gets devalued.
Yeah, but that's where USDT and USDC brings another trust assumption. It is one USDT backed by one USD, whereas USD, where you just bear the response and you just it's like it's some kind of a derivative of the US dollar.
But you can say that this for US dollar, that's correct, but you can also ignore the fact that it had been here for like a much long, like dozen over the years. So it went through the, again, it's at least it's much older than any kind of reserve value that we have. I mean, or the stable coins. So okay, that's correct, but it's still not the same league.
Tether was way more risky like back in the days than now, because like there are more regulation, and regulation also like prevents the way like people go away with the treasury, because they need to have multiple signings to go away.
Then how can you trust the regulations that were want to change every once in a while? Well, especially in this administration, like if you look at what happened during the Biden administration versus what happened now, it's like night and day. This is like,
Yeah. What tells you that in like 3 years, when the Democrats are going to go back to office, what tells you that
Just all the Bitcoin at this point, like it just
Yeah, I guess that's, but like we always take this as once something happens on blockchain, that's some hack or a problem. But if something happens on real life, that's an economic crisis. I think that's the same thing, because we set some rules and now some people decide the rules will change, and then there's a crisis and no one blames anyone. And I think that's the issue. Like, I think blockchain hacks are more secure than trust assets. And look, but when we say that how we can trust on dollars, yeah, of course you cannot trust on dollars. That's the idea. And I think they are even like trying to make this stronger. I don't see stablecoins as a step over decentralization. On the opposite, it's actually a more centralization of an asset.
therefore, no, that's correct, but that's the point. And actually, just
And yeah, with plastic, like in that, the trust assumptions, they don't change, because you say that like, I want my asset to be mapped to something else, and that's all. If you want to take some yield on this, yeah, of course, there's some risk that we need to take, because like you cannot take better yield than dollars without taking any risk. That is contradictory. So yeah, in that, I don't see any problem with like the current scope of how we understand and define blockchain. It's more like how people understand blockchain. Because people think that if there's a yield, like they should get this, and they don't understand what is risk and risk managed. So I think that's the issue.
But I think we all agree, and I think that the only point of like decentralization is just to be censorship wise step. That's it. And again, I think
There's like trust competitions.
What?
Yeah, you forget about ZK trust competitions.
no, I mean like no. Sure, the decay, that's to decay, make sure the what you do is valid without having to have the consensus to further.
Yeah.
So
Prevent double spam, it helps.
yes, exactly. So exactly. So no, I just want to say that exactly the differentially it only to be censorship resistant, not to have one single actor to block, to freeze your money, blah blah blah. We all know about this, and again, I think we all agree about like the US dollars just being some kind of a devil advocate, because but yeah. Yes, I think the point of like the stables is not to be, of course, decentralized. That's all, and it's not, because again, like we have seen. Oh, by the way, we have seen Tether is able to freeze also. The apparently the first 2 million in asset this week or last week, and also even like what happened beginning of the year is Python the ledger with the
yeah. But I think what's interesting to witness as well is the way money flows. People want to take an hedge of the dollar being devalued, and so they go to Bitcoin or they go to stocks, and then there's new things that happen in the market that make the money flow again, because then there's fear in the Bitcoin, and it's like a chicken and egg problem, where people always try to find the best place to store the money so that it doesn't get devalued.
No, exactly.
But in the end, it always gets, because this administration, it has a very funny way to behave. Like they announce news and then they de-announce them and then they re-announce them, and the market shifts in such a way that it's very hard to predict.
I believe that there's a very subtle difference there. The asset can be devalued because like some people, they don't care about it. It can be the case for Bitcoin. Like people right now, they like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's high. Maybe in the future they won't, and Bitcoin go low. But in the end, the amount of Bitcoin doesn't change. And that's important. Like it's deterministic. And I think that's the main point of blockchain. And once like you start making stable tokens, CDBC, and you act as if it's a blockchain while it's controlled, it's not, because like in the end, it gets devalued in a sense that it cannot be known pre-hand. But in the sense of blockchain, it can be known. And yeah, like coming back to the question, I think that there was a question around like CDBCs and stablecoins. I think it's interesting to discuss like which one to favor as like blockchain people or DeFi people. And also to discuss like why, I don't know, US is against CDBC and or stablecoins. I think it's like clear, but like, batch of stories. And
I think the question is, do you trust more governments or do you trust more businesses?
I mean, good question, Paul. So, if you think about it, I mean, that's a thought that I have because, like, not that long ago, if you think about it, like, no actual government is the issuer of the money that you use every day today. Like, you are using basically the euros that you're using every day is like subgen euros or BNP euros. It's not government euros. It's just euros that was lent to these banks, and the banks are just issuer of this stable coin, which is not stable coin, it's just money in your account. And so basically it's, if you want the status quo, it's going to be basically companies issuing, so Circle, Tether issuing these stables and just ensuring parity, so 1-to-1 parity, but otherwise it's the same thing basically.
Yeah, but I would say the difference between businesses and governments was that businesses trust, like care about making money, basically. So they want style to grow the value.
Yeah, no, honestly, I trust, I think I trust government more than I trust,
Yeah.
good, because I mean,
I would say the best,
Depend of the government.
oh yeah, yes, that's really favorite. Come on, like, let's be honest. I mean, I know what you mean when you say companies because they make money, but let's be real for one moment. Like, you're more likely to find good entrepreneurs in companies, but the drawback of having a potential malicious one is much more likely to happen than for government. So government, it's pretty standard. It's gonna be some kind of it's gonna be pretty much the same. In general, I trust government more than I would trust this.
even opposite RB, you can also argue that like governments are trying to maximize their vote. So in that, they don't care about the actual value, they care about what people think on their decisions. But businesses, at least they care about profit. So they always try to, make people happy, because with people happy, they pay more. So
Exactly, and at least with the government, like, the president cannot live with money. Yeah, I mean, he had the money.
maybe it's like he or she cannot live with the money. That's possible. You can take some money, but cannot live with the money. No, that's still like, no, you can take money, but that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that you can make some decisions that are not economically safe or, logical, because you don't need to actually, you just need to increase your vote. Exactly. So in that, like, business can be a better decision as well.
I'd say that's uncareful. Like if you look at the current decisions being made in France about the economy, it's very uncareful.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess votes are in that affected by money as well. So, you can also try to increase money. But let's think about, Trump's case. Like in that, Trump is trying to make his electors happy, but he's not caring about, like, I don't know that, right? He's investing in crypto for probably his own family. And like, that's weird, like you cannot know actually what's happening. And in that, like, no of the decisions can be explained with the politics. So he's just, playing the game stuff.
So I think Trump actually hinted at a strategy above crypto. It's like he wants the dollar to get so cheap that he can buy back the debts of the US government with crypto. That's probably why they built like these Bitcoin reserves, and they'll likely do the same with Ether at some point.
Does it make sense?
Well, in a way it does, because a lot of people are hiding into crypto to hedge against the devaluation of the dollar. So the crypto value will likely increase.
Not crypto.
Bitcoin, yeah. Bitcoin. I mean, some more reason.
Some of them are bet net loss.
You would be very, very wise if you bet in water. I'm not gonna say that thing.
Now Bitcoin is a machine coin according to many Bitcoiners. Yeah.
Which one? Ether?
Yeah, like if you look at like Bitcoin maxis, many of them will tell you that.
Ether is a shitcoin. Yeah. Whereas it's which is not very forced to actual value. It's not very well. I mean,
I don't see a document for it to be correct.
but they didn't in the space. It was a trap. It was a trap. Are you a Bitcoin or Maximus? I can't get it. Okay. I mean, if you want to hedge with, I'm not, whatever. I don't think that's a cap for the Red Sox. I think it's a cap for Bitcoin.
But like if you look at it this way, like if this is the strategy at play, then if you look at the Salvador or the country that decided to buy Bitcoin a few years ago, now they have much more value than they used to.
Yeah, but if they had to stop, if they were forced to stop.
Yeah, they were forced to stop, but they still made a lot of money recently.
Yeah, but the difference is that the debt of Salvador is like a drop of water inside of the big lake, which is America. Like trillions would just erase the crypto market cap. I mean, that's the crypto market cap, by the way. It's like 2-3 trillion or something. So if you want to erase the US debt with that, you're gonna have to throw it all off.
So Trump said, I think yesterday or today, that he wants the crypto market cap to go to like 20 trillion. And, between what he says and what happens, there's always like a big gap. But I think that's the kind of things take into consideration when you look at the way money flows and, CBDCs, for example, will they improve the crypto space or will it, destroy it?
I don't know. That's one way to look at like the proof of reserve being fully on chain. That's one way to look at it. It's of course not going to flow into retail's pocket. It's always going to flow into businesses' pockets. But if you ensure that the CBDCs have like treasury bills attached to them because you want the companies to profit of the treasury bills while issuing these stable coins, that's definitely a way for me to make it more transparent than the proof of reserves that are. I mean, if you look at like third party proof of reserve, that's something that's great and all, but when you look at the movie The Big Short in 2008, the Standard and Poor's is one of the biggest third party. Like they were upgrading these bonds, and these bonds were shitty, but they were insane because at the end of the day, the third parties are paid by the main issuers in order to do these ratings. So I'm just not 100% convinced by the proof of reserves. I trust Circle still, and I trust a little bit Tether as well. But yeah, it's definitely an assumption that would just basically disappear with the CBDCs, and I trust the governments more than the actual companies. Maybe we could summarize the question between that: are you a fully libertarian or not? I mean, like I think we like trusting the company would be like being fully libertarian, which is.
I don't necessarily. I trust code more than I trust no. That's good. I trust code as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's beautiful and that's great. In theory, but in practice, nothing is black and white. So the problem with if it's only company issuing money, you're gonna there's services that's gonna disappear from like one day to another. You're gonna have social security disappearing, all this stuff. I mean, if you're fully a libertarian, so I'm in favor of like company managing this because you want to make it move faster. But it's like the blockchain trilemma back in the days where you have security, you have scaling, and you have basically being fast. And
You said scalability, decentralization, decentralization, scalability, and the
scalability, security, and the blockchain being fast. Basically, I mean that's like the trilemma. You want the money to move fast, so you want to have private companies taking care of issuing to retails, but you also want to have security, and so the foundation of that is the proof of reserve, and CBDC is one way to do proof of reserve, and then the rest is
Advantage of using a company, it's the fact that you have competition between them.
Yeah, definitely.
And if there's
better.
and depends.
you optimize on something else. But
Yeah, but if you have CBDC and tomorrow they decide that your value is the coin will lose value if you hold it for more than 90 days, you will not be able to change it. You will already adapt it, and you will not be able to change to another one. If tomorrow, like USDT decided to do that, you will switch to USDC. like it will be more free to. I think it's good to still have like this competition.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
We need to like sometimes to abstract to some to the user, to the mass, like the different stablecoin and so on that will be under the hood, but still good to have them.
Yeah, but you should not abstract too much because that's the problem that happened with XUSD. I think that's also the problem that's been happening in the US, with misinformation. I think on Web2, the problem with misinformation is that there is so much happening that it's not actually people hiding things, it's people obfuscating things by just submerging people with tax on chain. It's exactly the same thing. You are just creating things out of thin air and just submerging people inside of like in information. And the XUSD Elixir situation was one of these because there was so much stuff happening, and without people full time having no job and just checking it, it's just crazy good and a crazy good coincidence. But if it hadn't happened, I mean, it's some
Unprevisible.
yeah, you wouldn't guess it would have happened, but just like basically drowning in information is not that great either.
Yeah, but when you have like the same risk manager,
Yeah, no, it's definitely was the problem with Elixir looping. And where was the second one? There was Stream Finance with looping between XUSD and DEUSD. I mean, I read the Rex article on this, and I mean the article itself is like million is they go to the same source. Yeah, exactly. Always the same source.
crazy. Like we also see like on Morpho, you have like a market that announced you already deposit on before. Like you have like the same risk manager and so on. This is a good advantage that we have at Aave. We don't have like a risk manager like a competitor. Like competes to each other, like having the different role and trying to have the best yield. They are together and they propose together. Like they like we have Lamarist and we have Scarflap, and both like propose like parameter for the assets, and they need to have a consensus before being like changed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I get it. It's good. I mean, it's Aave is the magnificent risk curator, and but there are others as well. I mean, you're going. Yeah, there's not only Aave, but there's Stakehouse, which is really great and which has proven to stay like this. And so yeah, I mean, there was millions of ways to manage risk, and at the end of the day, it's just a retail who'd have to look at basically what he's investing in. And some of the vault curators, the one as exemplary, like MD Capital, they done mistake 2 times in 2 years. One with USDC 0++, unusual, and one, yeah. So yeah, I mean, Aave is one great example because it's not a fully open market. You do not actually optimize for yield, but you optimize for security and yield. And that's probably not the incentive on Morpho, where you list all the curators, and so you have an incentive to have higher yields. Myself, I just look at the curators that I know and I trust. I look at the collaterals that are listed against one thing, so that's
Very important to look at it, because like most of the time like people look about the yield at first.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah, so that's definitely, but that's one thing. So that's one thing Morph was working on, and they announced today that they will be working with Redstone to have a third party ratings on the vault.
When did they announce it?
Today, I think the company is like it's Redstone behind it, but it's called Serdora, and they're gonna be doing ratings. No, not Serdora, Serdora, with a D. Yeah, it's completely new, but it's Redstone. So Redstone, the Oracle provider, and they're gonna be providing independent rating on the vault curators. I mean, for me, that's not gonna change anything because I know the vault curators and I know the oracles, but I think for a lot of retails, it's gonna bring a lot of value because you're gonna be able not to see only the collateral that you're lending against, but the actual risk of this collateral without knowing them.
just one question: who will pay for this?
Well, that's probably Morpho, because
They don't make. We are token. Okay.
I don't even know. I don't know. I haven't checked the announcement. I just saw it before entering. But it would be logical if it was Morpho or I don't know. That's a very good question. But
Because it's really important.
yeah. But since Morpho isn't actually doing bulk curation here, there wouldn't be any meddling inside of this. Because I mean they wouldn't have any incentive to push their own votes because they don't have any actually. So I think that's a great way to provide a better front end, because I think that's the main problem of Morpho today, and that's what Aave is also saying about Morpho, is that the front end is the key point behind like what's wrong with Morpho today. I mean what could be improved basically. So okay, let's get maybe we move to AI.
Yeah, I get a sick point because like you haven't talked about the verification of like at least the verification of our scoring or verification of the lending itself at the yield itself. And I think AI is interesting there because on that AI is a way of doing custom computation, which can be also interesting for getting some trustless yield or something, I don't know. So yeah, any thought? Do you think that if AI is something that's promising or yeah?
DeFi AI. Well, it's
Okay, I can't talk problem. So
I mean DeFi AI is interesting to say the least. I mean I just saw some news like about Dialectic bringing Machina, all of these AI vaults. That's definitely going to be interesting. Also, especially for traders, big traders, like for big traders, because they are going to be able to find hidden yield opportunities that are probably going to be interesting. But I think one of the key problematics today from big treasuries, like I'm talking billions, for the vault, they had very strict rules today on how to implement, how they're going to interact with the DeFi protocols that brings yield.
Totally normal.
Hmm?
Totally normal. You wouldn't want to be like
Yeah, exactly. That's totally normal. And so I think that's why AI could help spot these opportunities and be reactive on other fronts, which is integration. Because once you don't have people scouting for opportunities, but instead have people actually doing integration, it's gonna make things faster. There's definitely new opportunities that are not as streamlined as, for example, ERC-4626, which is I think one integration that most treasuries have today. But there are less streamlined opportunities, which are asynchronous yield opportunities, RWAs, all these things that are not basically normalized and that needs to have custom integration, verification, risk pricing that can be done through AI. For the rest, AI is just here to, I mean, AI, we see to it, AI gen is going to be of no help, of course. Generative AI is just here for marketing. And then probably some generative AI is probably going to be here to target more specific AI to price risk, maybe. But then I don't have any specific opinion, to be honest. I think it's really early today to actually talk about like agentic DeFi AI for retails. That's definitely like far in the future for me.
I have a lot to say about this. Okay, so with Ensemble, like we have been building a framework for AI chain, basically offering on a fractional way, on a per time basis, AI like agent services. But like I gotta tell you, like if you're looking for AI to perform strategies to work on UBL to make money or like to trade or to whatever, it's today garbage. Like I'm telling you, it's garbage. Basically, everything that you will see is just a wrapper of like LLMs. Have you guys watched Alpha Arena? So Alpha Arena. That's a very. I'm going to be very quick about this. So that's a funny exploitation. So it's like some kind of benchmark of LLMs. Like they would give them each of them. So like the big ones, like OpenAI, Claude, like Anthropic, Claude, DeepSeek, Perplexity, Mistral. I think there were 6, 7, or 8 of them. I'm not sure. Confirm Morgan. But they would provide each of them 10K, and over time you would see the performance of each of them, managing them, and basically they would underperform. They would lose money. I think only one out of those 8 made a bit of profits, making 12K or whatever. It was shitty. So no, AI agent are not going at today, and even whatever. So they're whoppers and they're not doing very well today. Okay, I can tell you the way I can see AI working very well and being super useful for DeFi is for them to act as monitor. So what I want to say, okay, let me be specific. So AI could provide the same features as central exchanges, but like you could have limit order, you could have stop order, buy order, any kind of balancing your portfolio.
Need to have AI for that.
Well, there is already, yeah, I mean, yeah, what you can do, I think, for AI is not scouting new opportunities and being, I think that's what you mean, right? Is you're basically referencing, like, basically you are acting as Google. You're referencing all of the current DeFi protocols and putting guardrails, and then you're just expecting the retail to talk to this AI. And once they talk to this AI, they're gonna say, okay, I want to swap. And so this machine is gonna list all of the possibilities, or to swap, go to curl swap, DeFi MS swap or whatever, and it's gonna provide. That's what you mean, right?
The rates and the best.
Yeah, that's still like it could do AI for that, but that's a very well accepted that, yeah, there is again with 2 for loops. So I think like I want to come back to the first point. So you said that like AI wouldn't be a good trader. Like I don't necessarily agree in that. I don't like AI. I don't believe in too much. But in that trading, it's just the data science, right? Like confirm if it's up, but
I'm telling you, Elias, I will be bad. Like I've seen that. Like I've been monitoring them for like a few months, and I'm telling you they're not doing well.
yeah, maybe.
And for you, like it's a good example.
Right now, that's the point, maybe. But like in that trading is about like a bit luck and also like data.
Okay, but that's
Actually, give us.
They will do like as trader, like trader. Most of them like don't beat the market. That's what they will do.
That's on the blockchain.
I think it's about a strategy. Like it is if you curate your AI with the right strategy for, say you want to arbitrage one specific coin on different markets. If you can, fine tune your AI for this specific strategy, but you cannot put one AI and expect it to do miracles on everything.
exactly. So an example, like you want to write an article, like the Twitter thread. You're not gonna ask a Claude or a ChatGPT, oh, write me a thread about this. No, you're just gonna make it, and at least you could use it to help you on a very specific like parameter. But you will never ask, okay, write me a thread about blah blah blah. It's
That is you, and
People use it like that, so I don't know.
no, nobody use them like making a thread about this. People do.
With will do that.
I mean, like.
No, that also it still depend of the machines you want.
I mean, the good ones, like the one who makes like who are impactful, who are good, that don't use AI that way. If they do the things and then they use it to refine it to improve it a bit, but like you basically don't ask the AI to do something general. You just use it as to review what you have done or to in a specific.
That's I think that's where we have to draw the line between like. Is the AI useful or not in this case? And I think if we are talking about arbitrage, for example, I think that's completely not useful because except like scouting, useful or useful, not useful. Yeah, because except scouting all the opportunities in just one click. If you wrote correct algorithms, and there's a lot of people that are doing this, especially at Kirok or any of these companies, they are like scouting arbitrage opportunities cross DEX, cross sex, and they are doing this every minute. I mean, AI is of no use here, and probably the only thing you can do is use these AI because you haven't implemented the proper arbitrage algorithms or proper statistical arbitrage algorithms on chain with low usage. But you're pretty soon gonna reach like limits of liquidity because the chains with the lowest usage are going to be the one without any proper market makers. And once you're going to be there and making like your first million, you're basically going to reach the end of the tunnel because, well, there is not enough liquidity to make more than $1 million in these chains. So yeah, that's probably where AI comes in, to explain to newcomers what is statistical arbitrage, how to implement it. And I think we can expand this to other topics than arbitrage. I think you can try to learn things with Gen AI, but you cannot do more than that.
It depends also of what you consider AI. If you talk about like more LM, or if you think about more like
machine learning is.
Yeah, if you go to machine learning, machine learning is actually because especially the markets in crypto are very inefficient. I don't know if you guys done a little bit of finance, but market efficiency is something big in TradFi, but in crypto it's like market efficiency is something that doesn't even exist. I think people know about like private credit markets, but they don't even know about what is like efficient markets. And the price is just following your curve. And if you have a good machine learning algorithm, you're definitely going to make money. I mean, you can probably make money because it's just following a mathematical curve. And some people are just building bots that are doing some dumb arbitrage, say, because everyone can be a trader on the blockchain. So yeah, you can make money with this specific AI algorithm. I'm talking more about AI gen, which is very limited in what it can do.
For me, like when you talk about like DeFi AI and so on, I have done my study about AI. I was in data science and AI topic, and I work for like the biggest lending protocol. So I'm on the both sides. But for me, like when you talk about it, most of the time, like you just put two keywords like to attract people. Yeah, and most of the time, like there are no real thing behind the scene. Like for me, like most of them, like are like cheat can be replaced by algorithm, like maybe simple automatic stuff that can improve. There are some type stuff is like there are some useful AI on this series, but it's like small topic.
Yeah.
For example, I see more like transaction between like AI and microtransaction. Like there is the way like to use blockchain, but most of them, and like I'm like, what the fuck you use blockchain, or what the fuck you want to do, to bring like just AI on this? Like it don't make sense. It don't.
Yeah, that's right. I think what the AI brings today is just ease of use as compared to like where it was previously, because one of the most interesting thing with AI was probably sentiment analysis, which was one big thing. And back in 2018, we already knew how to do sentiment analysis algorithms. It was just very complex, especially when you are talking about like other languages than English, which is very useful in emerging markets. But what the AI gen brings is it's basically much more easy to do sentiment analysis. So that's, I think, one of the key things. And if you are doing risk curation, you can use this as a data source, but one of the data source, because if you're doing risk curation, I know like one of the protocol used to do risk curation of node101 with AI, and that's definitely not going to avoid the traps that are set by the high yields and high risk opportunities.
Actually, you also have like a UX and workflow automation.
Yeah, UX and workflow automation is big. I mean, there was this one thing with so it's V0 by Verso. And
That's great.
yeah, that was great because it's AI generated components for the users. I think for the retail, it's going to have a lot of use to have AI generated components as long as you can verify the actual transaction that it creates. That's very important. Yeah.
Because like you can, they can make a lot of money, but they can like lose them like in split up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you have like things as Rabbi and Ledger even tried the tier signing, which was a massive failure. But
It's good, but
no, where is the market? It's yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's yeah, UX is definitely a big win, but that's like 10% of the money flow in DeFi, 5%. So, but yeah, that's great. That's definitely a great thing.
And do you see any other like use cases that are not being discovered yet? Like,
No, because like I think it's interesting. Like till now, like I would say till Dexus, blockchain was a mean of like replicating traditional finance. And then we had this decentralized idea of finance, and I know it was huge, but in the end that wasn't just because it was a new type of finance. And like I think it's natural to ask if something similar would exist for AI. Can it actually change finance and introduce a new way of trading, new way of interacting with other tasks?
No, I was about to say, I think some of the teams in the blockchain space are taking the problem the other way around. It's not, can AI help blockchain, but it's more like, can blockchain help AI? I think that was one of the problematics that one of the team, there was this one at Korea Blockchain Week, which was massive sponsor. I don't remember. It's the little octopus logo. I don't remember.
It's OJ. It's probably that.
Zurich.
OG.
Zurich.
Yeah, it's probably this. No, it's Open Ledger.
Open Ledger, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no. The Open Ledger OG is the name of the ticker. That's well, it's Open Ledger.
I want like the
Yeah, sorry. Can I actually? That's a great question. Can I ask you one question that I would love to have you? That's a question I love to answer. To a team comes to me and telling me about like what to do and how innovative they are. The first question I always love to ask is why the heck you need a blockchain here? So, okay, I'm asking you, why the heck do you need blockchain for AI? I have an answer for this. I'll tell you, I would love to have your answer first. Well,
That's also why you need a token.
Yeah.
But I mean, AI. That's one of the. I think that was one of the value proposition from Stacknet for saying, like the fact that you could prove algorithms in a Stark in a Snark. So probably proving AI algorithms, proving the data behind the training of these AI algorithms. And then I'm not an LLM specialist, so I wouldn't be able to say. But I think that's probably the main things.
Yeah. For me, most of them, like when you see value that can bring by blockchain, in fact, like the real value is not bring by the blockchain, it's bring by the cryptography.
Yeah.
And like really like what will move from cryptography to blockchain really need a blockchain most of the time they do need a blockchain.
Yeah. There hasn't been any application that is
Count the number of keyword that
well say and no that there is actually there is one actually because that was one of the topic and it's X402 and X402 has a massive value proposition.
Yeah, but that's very different, and that's not really like that's not directly. It has a link with AI, but it's not directly linked to AI.
Yeah, it has a link with AI because
It does. Like we ERC 8004 does. Well, yeah, it's not. But like, just let me explain. Just getting back to the question I asked. Okay, so what do you say about usually it's cryptography? It really to me it really depends. So to me, okay, so what is blockchain? Blockchain it's just distributed ledgers and cryptography combined. And to me, okay, so when you think of a banker, you have three functions. You make sure you don't you have the money that you want to transfer to wire. You make sure you don't double spend your money, and it also makes sure that it's you behind it through your code. So to me, the two first functions are in blockchain are held by the distributed ledgers, and the cryptography takes care of like making sure you are the ones who actually do the transaction. So to me, so it really depends on the use case. Yeah, cryptography is only useful to prove, of course, and also to make sure it's you. But getting back to the question, what the blockchain brings to AI, to me, proving is something for sure. Making sure the output is worth it. And two other things is to make sure so you can actually don't give the input to a single player. That's also something, and making sure with privacy you have many ways to do it. If it's GT, there are many ways to do, or even decay. And the also very easy part, and that goes to X42, is being able to give wallets to an agent to AI for it to do actions on your behalf in a very very flexible way, compared to Web2, where you always be limited by the APIs, by the infrastructure the agent you're going to interact with. So and that goes to for X42, which is an amazing like an amazing way to flow money, and actually even beyond. Okay, so maybe I'll let you SDC. Well, okay, I don't I don't want to take the mic too long, so I stop here and I will say something else afterwards.
The thing is like, for example, like sometimes like it can bring value, but sometimes it's
X42?
no, X42 bring value. But the thing is like, do you really need a blockchain, and do you need for any of the step? For example, if you have like an agents interacting with the clients, they ask some data and they need to pay for this. They can still be doing stuff like only on the private network, like have their own computation of what they need to pay the other, and then put back on the chain at the end, like a kind of what happened on Bitcoin, not that L2, when kind of you see
The rootstock, like the L2 from Coin.
I think like most of the time you put data on chain that don't really need to be on chain. Like the results need to be on chain, but not all the process. All the small transactions don't need on the chain, whereas the results, the last paying, need to be.
So I don't know, like maybe that's a bit disturbing conversation, but I think that's important to notice. First of all, like, let's don't say blockchain, let's say decentralization. And it's clear what decentralization will bring to AI. It's like what it brings to internet, plus even more because AI is very, very centralized and it's very scary. So it's important to have decentralization. I think that's clear. But I think it's also that clear that it cannot bring that value right now. Like
Distributors are already there because they distribute computation. You can give the inputs to a single player. You just give it to an entity.
yeah, but that would be like blockchain. Those companies tell define down as blockchain, but yeah, it's non-cryptography and distributed computation, and that already exists before blockchains will exist later as well. So, that's why like I wanted to ask the question the other way around. Can AI bring something to DeFi? Because in then like if we try what blockchain can bring to AI, in that there is a very, very big player, and blockchain is not that big, even if it's much older. And probably AI don't need blockchain because right now it's growing very good. So I don't know. They're happy doing it. Yeah, I mean that's technologically, but like the markets doesn't need it because AI markets are here. I don't want to give my data to DeepSeek, for instance. You don't. But like most people, they don't care. They just care. They already. I just think they don't have other. It's not that they don't know it. They don't care. Yeah, but no trend. But that's the problem of decentralization. You cannot actually convince people that something is required without them having a problem. And most people, they why you have to also run your chat GPT or locally. This doesn't perform that well because it's so expensive. It's impossible. I mean, it's impossible to. Yeah, you mean like because I really don't want to give my inputs to OpenAI. I believe that's legal, and like most people are okay. No, I think so. I mean, that's the same with entities. Anyone is giving their data because they don't have other alternatives. If they could, they would do it. I'm asking you, I don't think people. I think all of us, if they could do it, if they could run into.
You can launch LM or local now, like you can have all of that
because it's so expensive. Yeah.
No, it's not.
I mean,
It doesn't matter for what you want to do. If you want to train, it's very expensive. If you want to using at the end, like already trained LM, it's not.
yeah, but here we're talking as people who have access to like massive computing power. I mean, at home, I have all that I need to in order to run massive LLMs. But for instance, you just take my family, and they won't be able to even run like the simple mixtures 3 billion parameters because they don't even want to. I mean, they don't even care about owning a MacBook. But however, they care about their data. They actually know that even like using Google from like back in the 2000s to today, giving data to OpenAI, they're really cautious about it still. But maybe I also agree with you, whereas like a lot of people actually don't really care about it. We are informed, and so we know that we won't give our data. We will be very cautious about it. But a lot of people actually don't really care. And also because I mean we all heard this argument, which is what can they do with my data anyway? And that's like I'm finding it argument stupid. Yeah, but that's an argument you hear every day. I mean, you can hear it every load. That's correct. Yeah. And then so I think on this topic, AI could potentially bring something to crypto, but it's to be proven, and it's not today for me. But could blockchain bring something to AI? I think in terms of developer experience, yes. Because we were talking about X402, and that's where the value is brought is the payment rails in order to create your own agents are not gatekept by Stripe or by any payment providers that are going to be there. And you can today build your own AI agent with X402 without any fees, without any censorship, and instant finality. I mean, you have all of the Yeah, almost instant finality. Yeah, 2 seconds. I mean, that's another. It's instant. Yeah. That's crazy good. And you do not suffer also the regulation on payments that you could suffer in Europe, or for example the 14 days back guarantee, which is a disaster for this kind of APIs. So, but to me, one of the key things, not too many people mention, but it's still pretty obvious, is with X42 you can actually charge less than 1 cent. Yeah, which is like for macro payments. If you want to do like, so it definitely changes the business model for many use cases. You again,
Especially for APIs.
for API calls, like if you want to call data, you can charge even like less than 1 cent. To be completely honest on that part, I think this is not sustainable. Like all the 1 cent. Yeah, the 1 cent like paying per API calls, I think that's not sustainable for two.
In matches.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not sustainable right now from two things. There is, of course, the payments. I mean, Base is growing in number of transactions. They had to move from Go ETH to Rust ETH in order to bring down to not only upgrade the computation, but also to bring down the actual resources in terms of storage that it needs. So that is one thing. It's not because you make a 1 cent transaction that you're going to take less block space. And the second thing is in terms of actual internet speed. Like if you are targeting LLMs, that's fine, because 2 round trips with an API endpoint is not going to be that expensive in terms of duration compared to the LLM computing. But 2 round trips in something that is, for example, I don't know, like trading data, which is probably something that people are going to charge for with X402. A lot of people are gatekeeping their APIs with X402. A round trip, so X402, to explain, it's like you send an API call, you get a 402 answer back, and so you have to send a second message with signature to say, okay, I'm paying now. So I think it still has to be improved by creating as API keys, putting them in cookies or whatever, to do only just once this round trip, like the TIS encryption round trip. And yeah, I think that has to be improved. I think that not only Coinbase is in the X402, but also Cloudflare. So say it. Cloudflare is also in the X402 thing. So I think they also have concern about speeds and also concerned about actually charging with anything other than blockchain, probably. But I think where blockchain shines is you don't have to actually sign into the rails of Stripe, which is a major blocker in a lot of countries. Because I think, for example, in India, Stripe is not usable.
Yeah, I think that's the only main advantage of blockchain, to be honest. Like, it's international. I think that's good. All other stuff can be fixed with API keys in that. So like, or like custom balances, etc. You don't need to pay dollars in that. So
Yeah, I mean, API keys is also one big blocker with API with air agents. Like talking with a protocol, a payment protocol, like without any human interface, is actually pretty big.
yeah, but I guess it's easy for payment protocols to integrate some kind of like a symmetric signature.
Yeah, but I think they'll be integrating X-Vault, which I think
I think we are getting a bit out of topic, so let's come back to
This bad. Go for it. Yeah, I guess. I'm sorry, I always forget the mic. Yeah, I guess. I mean, also it's also linked to X42. It goes in pair with the 8004. So like, let's get back to the agent. And so getting back to the agent, so the DeFi agent, this could be I mean 8004. So basically the CRC 712. Let's keep basically a reputation to your agent. Is great because now you can, of course, have like some kind of identity for any kind of agent, which can involve export too. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, the random component of agents is just for me not really compatible with blockchain. I think the random component of AI agents.
that's deterministic, you know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the principle of smart contracts and blockchain is that everything is deterministic, and so that's where you can prove things. If you were to rerun AI agents workflow to prove them, it's more like about like a neutral replica on the agent. Like, I think giving an agent some kind of identity. It's not about like I mean, it's a deterministic. If that's the point.
Yeah, I think it's more about giving the trust interrupt. so you can't prove it statistically. We cannot prove it exactly, but you can put some statistical, upper bound.
Yes, and you can track you can track it. And at what level would you put the agent? I'm just curious here. So again, what's the question? At what level would you put the AI agent? Like, what would be the goal of this AI agent in DeFi? I mean, if you have any example, let's say you have a marketplace. Okay, let's say you have a marketplace of like agent. Could use any kind of agent. Let's say this agent that does some I don't know, or some I don't remember.
I think this translate like the fact that most of the time, like here, like we try to find like a way to put agent on blockchain and so on, and we don't respond to do we need like do we solve something, and we have like the need of it, and it's a way to solve the issue.
No, I think it's most of the time. Sometimes it is. Sometimes
Sometimes you need to have agent, but like we need to have like the need, like you solve something. It's a way to achieve what you do, not like you just put.
Okay. So you're an agent. So export is the only possible in the context of blockchain because like it allows like these flows with stable.
No, that's not
Like it's also possible with normal rails
payments as well.
yeah. It's just more complex. It's because like you are limited by the API, by the infrastructure. But it's the same. Like you could technically set up a stride to pay on behalf of your agent. That's possible, but you are less flexible in having a wallet to. No, that's definitely in terms of like you just have to put you just have to give access to the signature ability to your AI agent, and it's much easier. I fully agree with that. But satisfaction, you can even do it with session keys or whatever session keys. Yeah, but you can also do with traditional payment rails. It's just I think where the blockchain is going to win is it's easier in terms of DX. Like developer experience is at the core of this because I mean developer also as a standard, as a solo standard for operating through like a multiple sets of infra. You're not limited by the infra of the and also you can give a wallet because the efficiency is big.
You actually don't need to look about the docs. You know that you will call and you will be able to pay directly. You don't need to create your own IP.
So why do you need a wallet? Like you can even set up a Stripe if you think that way.
Yeah, but it's just like because it's just like that. But we can like link it with our payment system.
Yeah, and like you're missing something, Gagi. Right now, the internet is very, very centralized, and most of the things that are like scrape or something, they're like mostly hosted by some centralized hoster like WordPress or I forget his name, but you get the point. So in that, it's not that hard to standardize something. It's not like everyone is writing their own code in every country, and we need to have like a global payment system that covers all. No, like mostly they're controlled with some very good standards. And you just put the standard on the majority and then the rest will adapt really fast. So the blockchain is good. It brings some value, but to be honest, it's not that critical. And plus the value is not...
Okay, how do you set up a verification mechanism?
You can just have some centralized system like Google can do this, Cloudflare can do this. Cloudflare is providing, I don't know how much of the internet, but they are providing the internet in them. And if Cloudflare or AWS says that they are doing the system, it's implemented, it's done. So like, why doing blockchain? And I would trust Cloudflare doing more.
A lot about the input to make sure you input it, but if you use some kind of a random, because you don't want to give your input, like you don't want to put your input, like sensitive inputs to any kind of like AI or like a wrapper that you can bring there because you need to trust the company. What about like using it as some kind of a way to avoid getting the inputs to the company, to an individual?
Don't do like that. And then we are trusting Cloudflare or let's say AWS, like we are trusting them. And it's impossible to not trust them. Bitcoin is trusting AWS as well. Like anyone is mining through their servers. So in that, like, I don't know if they decide on doing this payment system over internet as a protocol and they can just implement it. And I don't think making it decentralized doesn't solve anything in terms of...
I think that's not decentralization. That is the key point for blockchain. It's just ease of use and basically it's international. So what you said, it's also permissionless in a way. Yeah, but
permissionless and international, it's just because it's not regulated. So, and right now they are trying to regulate the blockchain, and the blockchain can lose this property really fast.
Can it do the feature decentralization is only about censorship resistance?
No, it's I think it's a like combination of trustlessness and sense results.
Yeah, but trustless and then identity. I feel so, but like in this context, identity.
Yeah, okay, let's say in this context it's such persistent, but in that like blockchain is always centralized at some point. Right now, all Ethereum is centralized through MetaMask. Because like most of the accounts they're accessing through MetaMask interface, and that if MetaMask closes the port, like most accounts won't be able to access. Like maybe smart people can access, but in that this is not the crypto itself. So it's always the same. It's the same for RPC providers. What do you mean? Like 3 people are providing Ethereum RPC right now. Alchemy, Quid, Node, Infura, and maybe a few other, and that's all. Like it's centralized at the point, and that's the same for internet. And that internet is centralized in the point that you access it. And right now, 60%, 70% of internet is using Chrome browser. So if you integrate our payment system, we can just integrate it over Chrome, and that will be sufficient actually to be integrating most of API calls. So like blockchain being more centralized and more adapted, yes, theoretically it is, but in practice, like a single company is actually running the entire internet on its own. So they don't really into blockchain. That's the same for Cloudflare, AWS, Google. They are so that
Yeah, but because of the monopoly rules, they don't actually have the leverage to choose a payment solution. And where Cloudflare shines as working with Coinbase is that they actually don't really care about which payment rails you're going to be using. They only care about the norm that you're going to be using. And so X402, that's why it's so flexible, is that you can pass any AP712 signature to make a blockchain transaction in order to pay, but you can also pass whatever data you want to make a payment with Stripe or make a payment with something else. And I think in terms of regulation, yes, it's more and more regulated and more to be regulated, but I think we're going to be seeing more and more regulation that are like the Genius Act from Donald Trump. It's going to be targeted at like if it's decentralized enough, like the MiCA rule in Europe as well. If it's decentralized enough, then well, that's decentralized and that's cool. And if no one can act on it, like if no one has actually custody of the funds, if no company has custody of the funds, then it's decentralized, and so we don't really care about it. So I think we're going to see these regulations, but they're not going to be that much like an impact on us. And then we rely on AWS, but I mean we've seen with the AWS outage on last week or 2 weeks ago, if as in no downtime. And I think we can still rely on the fact that even without AWS or GCP or other cloud providers, we can still survive. And the final point is developer experience. Like this is the key thing. If you want to set up Stripe, you would have to have a company incorporated in a country which is authorized to use Stripe. And then once that's cleared, you would have to have a product. And if this product is not legal in the sense of the legal terms from Stripe, then you could be banned. If you have weird traffic, you could be banned. The payment is actually expensive because on Stripe, the flat fees are like 10 cents, I think, or no, 1 cent. So I don't even remember the flat fees on Stripe. And whereas with crypto, you just say, okay, X402, EIP712 for Coinbase. I just set it up. The user only has to provide a wallet, and then that's it. And I can keep my APIs. And we've seen a lot of developers actually doing this. Apov is one of the biggest one. The guy actually kept APIs from day zero. I mean, he's been working like for 2, of course, so he's the first one to integrate it. But from day zero, he has integrated it, and today he has released something to pay with USDC without this. So, like the actual value of this is big for developer, and because developers are able to move fast with it, I think we're going to see this tech incorporated with blockchain at its core on a lot of products instead of Stripe, probably. And with Coinbase behind it, I mean, Circle USDC, they're going to be providing. I mean, I see a world where technically people are not going to be knowing that they are using blockchain behind the scene. They are going to be providing USD and actually they are going to be paying USDC. So that's probably what's going to be happening. And I see, I mean, that's where it shines for me.
Well, it is changing your dollar into your stablecoins.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, it's obvious.
They're really doing this.
Okay, yeah. Great, cool. So, okay, so just sounds like, so what to take on the 8204?
It's still to be seen. I mean, it has to demonstrate itself. We see a lot of applications that are unsuccessful. And I think the only successful application on blockchain so far is the one that actually has money. So treat DeFi.
I think it's user, not money.
No, it's still a stablecoin, I'm sure. Stablecoins, yeah. I mean, stablecoins, money, RWAs, everything that has money onto it. I haven't really made it. Yeah. You know, I mean, as soon as you have to pay for the transaction that you're going to be doing, there has to be some kind of value counterpart in the transaction. And the actual tangible value is always down to money movements. So DeFi and stablecoins, RWAs, and X4 is one thing as well. Money movement brings actual, like, yeah. You take on your head?
No, I agree. And I think it's too early to say.
Cool. Anything else to add? I mean, I think
Maybe some final notices, for it was a quite mixed discussion. But I think it was very interesting. Just I guess calling up, we discussed the hack first of all, and like how it can affect blockchain and its effects. Then we go into the DeFi side a bit more, and we talked about like different types of yield pools and what do we actually care about while choosing where to take our yield from. Good advice, by the way. Like, I know that was an advice, but the advice, that's good advice. Don't look what you gain first. So yeah, then we talked about the AI a lot. And yeah, I guess finally we conclude with X402. Anything you want to add anywhere? Any notices? No?
Yeah. Maybe do you have any stuff, any updates, any cool stuff to announce on your end, or any news like on Aave or Mangrove Fuel?
Okay. No, I don't have an announcement, but I think that's very cool. I think announcements.
Yeah, and maybe you can get alpha if you have some alpha to share or to. Well, I don't have any alphas to give. I mean, I have some stuff in the NDA. What I can say is that we are. It's only the 6 of us. Yeah. No, I mean, we are really proud with the developments at Mangrove because it was actually catastrophic in the past few years. We stunned blast with them. So yeah. So knowing you guys for years or whatever. Yeah. I mean, the company's been always been legit, but user traction has always been catastrophic, and I think we've been resilient, and so right now we are really happy because on Oxium we're gonna be. So Oxium is our main product. It's on Say. I mean, it's a team taking care of Oxium, and it's about to cross billion in volume. So that's really good. And then the next thing is we're going to release a new AMM club, which is going to be very efficient. We're very proud of it. And it's going to be launching on a very fast chain. So we're pretty happy about it. And yeah, that's an alpha, but I'm not going to give any more details about it.
people make through the entire year. They look at it anyway. Who do you next?
Yeah, I mean, also very excited about working on O2 Exchange. So that's the C-Love exchange that we're building a fuel in-house. So it's about to launch pretty soon. Sorry, Destiny. So yeah, very excited about that and very excited about the vision of it, which is quite different from what we've seen in crypto so far. So I don't want to spill all the beans once you dig it to the official announcement, but yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see.
Congrats. Looking towards it.
Well then,
And do you want to the next?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of stuff before, sure. Yeah, before, but let's talk about a little bit about V4, but I don't think it will be like how you see it. For me, like V4 can a lot of traction, can be very interesting, but a lot of our like partner think like V4 will launch and they need to migrate to V4 and blah blah. I think like as BGD, like V3 will continue to stay for a long time. Like Aave, like currently are on the V3, like V2 is already depreciated since long time, don't have a lot of liquidity. Like the V3 like have like more than $70 billion. We will not put like all these funds on the new V4 directly. Like V4, it's a new project. It's completely new code base. It was working by one of our service provider. It was like already audited, but it will continue it still needs to grow over like security parts to get like really traction and continue to like we don't put multiple billions directly on the new code base. It doesn't make sense.
Just another question, like given the recent act, are you considering re-auditing your V3 contract, for example?
And you know like as each time like we do some modification, we have some budgets like
Not that you can without modification, because as Balance has shown now, it's like a 4-year-old protocol, and yeah, it's been hacked.
we have like I don't know if we will like do re-auditing of the current code base. It can be looked about. I will not be against it. I will definitely not be against it. Like I really like steps that go on the security side. But the thing also to put forward is if you find a possibility of hack on Aave, you have a lot of way to act. We already have like the legal part related to that. We already like have like pricing of how much you can get if you find like different parts. Yeah, big bounty, but also like how to get back the phone and so on. We already like manage this stuff. So yeah, it's good. It can be done. Like, but yeah, I will be like supportive of some new audit and so on. But it need to be done by like interesting part. Like it need to bring value. If it's all the same auditor and like it don't really make sense. Like you need to have like really like advantage to do that. But yeah, it can make sense to some improvement of security.
Do you at the top of your mind, like of your head, like who are your auditors? Like who could you each time you don't remember? That's right. I think that's open. You have
In fact, like I know like the auditors that do like the audit of like the new IAP. Like for example, we have Satora, we have like
show up bit technical also no. You get Satori, yeah.
in fact, it depends. We have two set of auditor. We have like a set of auditor where with like big version of Aave, and also like each like V3.5, V3.4, and so on, like all the, like minor version. And we also have like another pipeline of like review by other team. Like when we do like AAP, when we change when we modify some parameter of the protocol, we have like kind of internal audits, but it's like done by multiple team. Like when if for example I pass like I don't like the AAP to list to increase the cap of like the BTC now on Ethereum, it go like internal review on my team. Like ICI is another person on my team that will review it. Then we will send to BGG. They will have 1 or 2 person that will look about it, because their goal. Then it will go to Certora for like they will look about it and verify that like it matches the proposal and so on. There are no like open stuff, open issue. And then it will be like public and open to vote. And they will have like, we will have like the time of the votes to find potential issue. And then we will have like 1 day of gap when like any guardian can like cancel the proposal is saying about this. All right, cool. Also, so it's well. I think like what to look currently will be like before, of course. I think it will be like also like the renewal or the different service provider, because it's on it's like on vote currently. Also like the buyback, because we will like put forward we will like formalize the buyback of Aave token. And also like Project E, which is like a project launched by BGD Labs, as they will have a friendly fork of Aave, and it can be very interesting to look about. Interesting.
Great. Also very machine. Cool. I think anything else to add, Bruce?
No, and that's really good. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to the invitation.